Hello everyone! Welcome to Daily Dose of Stamping Therapy. It's Friday. We've made it through another crazy week and I'm so excited because I'm stamping two projects with you today and we're going to go through all of the fun details of that. So before I actually get started, I'm just going to give you guys a few minutes to jump on so that you're not catching me in the middle of something. And we can all enjoy stamping the two projects from Girls Night Out. So if you haven't been following along on my Daily Dose of Stamping Therapy, don't worry, you haven't missed out on anything, but you can also go back and rewatch those. But I'll just get you a little updated. I had my new catalog launch party yesterday, which we call Girls Night Out. And because after all, it surely is. Whew, it was amazing. I had so much fun chatting with the girls and stamping together and everything. It's been way too long. But those of you who couldn't attend based on schedule or whatever it might be, or if you're not local, then I am giving you Girls Night Out here online. So no one is missing out. Yesterday, I did Daily Dose of Stamping Therapy, and I showed you guys all of the displays and everything from Girls Night Out. And today, we're actually going to stamp the two projects that we did. So, hi Cindy, welcome. So you still have time until 8 p.m. this evening. And you can participate in Girls Night Out and get these two projects sent to you. So if you use the Hostess Code that is scrolling across the top, then place your order with that Hostess Code and you will automatically get these two projects mailed out to you so that you can do these same projects at home. So you can always rewatch this video when you get those projects in the mail so that you can do them exactly like mine. Or you can always do them with your own flair because there's nothing wrong with that. Both of these use a greeting that could be mixed into, any other greeting of your choice. There's plenty of different greetings that you could do as long as it fits on that little label and this little label. So as long as your greeting fits there, you can really choose any sort of greeting that you have on hand or that you need for an upcoming event. That would be Claire upstairs having lots of fun with her daddy before nap time. So getting out that last energy because we all know nap time's at 1. So I can only be on here for like 55 minutes with you guys. But that's probably long enough to get these two projects done for sure, even with my chit-chatting. So hi, Laura. Welcome. Okay, so let's go ahead and we are going to get started. Again, if you use that Hostess Code that is scrolling across the top, and I also left a Shop Now button in the description box. So just click that and shop and have fun. If you have any questions on any products or anything like that, just ask. I'm more than happy to answer those for you. And then you'll also get these two projects in the mail as well as a little free gift. So let's get started on the projects. This one is the first one. So you can see it is those fabulous sunflowers. I am using the sunflowers that are in the stamp set that you guys liked a lot, as well as the Forever Greenery that you guys liked a lot. So this is the stamp set. So it's got those beautiful sunflowers, a huge sunflower, but also the smaller one, which we'll be using, and some greenery, and then some fabulous greetings as well. So I was able to do a nice inside-outside. So I'm starting with a piece of Misty Moonlight, which is one of the new in colors. And we're also playing with Bumblebee, which is another one of the in colors. So our Misty Moonlight card base, I'm just going to go ahead and fold that in half. And use my handy dandy bone folder for that nice strong crease. And then we can actually set that aside for a minute. I have two pieces. My grid paper is stuck. The back side has been well loved. This side is nice and clean. The back side is well loved. So we have a piece of Whisper White and a piece of Bumblebee. The Whisper White is for the inside. You can stamp your coordinating greeting. You can also stamp a sunflower in there. whatever you would like. And then of course the bumblebee is for the front. So we're actually going to use that small sunflower image. It does have the 2 leaves up here at the top, but we're actually not going to stamp those leaves. We're going to stamp those leaves off the edge of the paper. So it's actually going to stamp like this, and we're just going to stamp it along the top and along the bottom. And I know you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, I can't line those up. That's not going to work. But I'm going to show you a little trick with that. And I just realized that I stole my early espresso ink pad and was using it over there for a project this morning. And I thought, just don't forget to put it back. We know how well that went. So hold on just a minute. Let me grab my early espresso ink pad and we will get started. Okay, I'm back. That was quick. So I have my early espresso ink pad and I want to stamp my sunflower where the edge of the center is close to the bottom edge of my cardstock. And then the leaves, of course, are going to fall off. One of the other things that I highly recommend is to stamp and choose a spot somewhere in the middle. So it doesn't have to be dead center. And actually, I probably wouldn't recommend it being dead center. But somewhere in this center, 1/3 area of the paper. And just start there and then work your way out in either direction. This will give it a little bit more of an evenness across. And you don't have to worry about lining them up. The other thing is if you were to stamp left to right, you would end up with 2, 2, 2, where they would be on top of each other, on the top and on the bottom, and they would line up. But then if they were off a little, you would notice it more. This way, it doesn't matter how they are. They can just be all mishmash, and it just looks like nice rows of sunflowers. So I stamped my first one down. As you can see, the center of the flower is close to the edge of the cardstock, and I just did it in the middle area. And so now I'm just going to ink it up and stamp it again. And I kind of overlapped the flowers, the petals, just a hair. But you don't have to. It could also be considered a mistake. So then I went all the way in that direction. And now I'm just going to go in the other direction and fill in. And typically 4 sunflowers is what you're going to kind of get. It just kind of depends on spacing and overlapping and stuff like that. Okay, so there I have my 4 sunflowers. Now I'm just going to flip it over and do the other side. And in fact, I actually want to almost do my first sunflower split between those 2, so that I'm not lining it up. So you can see how this sunflower is actually between these 2, so that they're offset. So it just looks like a mishmash of sunflowers and not straight lines of sunflowers going across. Since I'm going to be doing some stamping, you guys can do some chit-chatting with me, and we can talk about what is everyone having for supper? Just like we did back in the day. I feel like the beginning of all of this daily dose of stamping therapy was forever ago. And yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Okay, so I have 4. There's a small hair of yellow on the bottom, but I don't think I'm going to do another one because I think it's fine. I'm sure if this piece of paper went farther, then there would be a little bit showing down here, but it's not necessary for this card. So now we can go ahead and we can add our strip of Misty Moonlight down the center. And the reason why I suggest adding this before adding it to the card front is because if there happens to be a hair of extra Misty Moonlight, you can always trim it off. And it's easier to trim it off before you put it on than when you put it on. So, and it happens, if you ever cut a piece of cardstock that's, 4 inches. Oops, I just bumped it. If you cut a piece of cardstock that's 4 inches, if you go on the inside of the 4-inch mark or on the outside of the 4-inch mark, you're just going to end up with that little smidgen, and it looks like we're good. There is like a small little smidgen, but like not enough to be able to trim it. And if I did try to trim it, it would probably just munch it, and we're not doing that. So now I'm going to go ahead and add this to my card front. So tonight we're having calzones, because you guys know on Fridays we always have calzones. So calzones tonight. I am having chicken on mine, grilled chicken. Brad actually grilled on the grill yesterday during girls' night out. I'm actually going to move this so you guys can see it a little bit better. I didn't realize that it was so close to the edge and you guys couldn't see the full card. Let's pull it in a smidge. I'm like seeing my like reflection kind of, so it's always the opposite. Okay, so there we have that. And then like I said, we can always stamp a little sunflower down in the corner of the inside piece. Brown is not my choice of color for stamping that on the inside, but it works because it's already dirty, and I don't actually have my Bumblebee ink. It is arriving today. So you could also stamp it in the blue. So I stamped the butterfly. I stamped the sunflower in the corner, and just to kind of pull it all together and coordinate it. And then of course I stamped the greeting in the center, and it says, know that you are loved. So super, super cute. And I'm just going to add this to the inside of my card. You can also stamp your envelope too, and then that is always super fun to have all of it coordinate together. Typically when I stamp an envelope, I either do it down in the corner, same as I did on the inside of the card, like that. But I also decorate the lip a lot of times too. So again, I'm going to go with that same pattern that I did on the card, and kind of start in the middle and then work my way out. So there is the lip of the card. So then you have that fun coordinating look. Super, super cute. I do always like to decorate my, what did I get on it? There we go. Decorate my envelopes, because I feel like whenever you get a card in the mail and it's like all decorated and pretty, you're like, oh, this is going to be good. It's kind of like whenever you see it and it's like hand addressed, you're like, oh my gosh, what did I get? So yeah, the epitome of happy mail starts with the outside envelope. I will admit though, I don't always stamp my envelopes, because then I always have to keep the envelope with the card. And a lot of times I just use, like regular Whisper White or very vanilla envelopes. And I don't want to pair them together until I actually use them. So I don't usually do that, because then I'm not going to get the stamp set back out again whenever it comes time to mail it. But I do super love decorating my envelopes. Okay, so now we have a piece of our Whisper White. This is 3/4 of an inch wide, and it's going to slide into the fabulous punch. I absolutely love this punch. You can use whichever side you want, but you'll just slide it in the little 3/4 like groove lines, and push it back until it doesn't go back any farther, and then punch. You can also pick it up and hold it like I'm doing, slide it in the groove lines, and look and see that it is pushed all the way down, and that it's nice and centered between, the two images there. And then you can go ahead and punch. So I would hold it like this, and then you're kind of like holding it with your thumb on the back and your fingers on the front, and then go ahead and punch. And now you have that fabulous label. A lot of people asked me yesterday whether they should punch first or stamp first. And for this one, since the length of it has already been determined and I've already cut that for you, then it's okay. You can actually do one or the other. It doesn't matter. And since very little gets punched off, it's not like you're going to get super close to the edge and then end up punching some of that off. So that's fine. In fact, like with this, I went ahead and I punched first. So now I can stamp it. And you can stamp it either dead center, which is hard to do because I can't center anything. Or you can also offset it like significantly and then have room for that ribbon. So you can see this one I kind of did in the center, and my ribbon also kind of covers up a little bit of that thanks, the T on thanks. So you could always, oh, it does say thanks so much. Okay. So you could always offset it. So for this one, I'm actually going to stamp it off to one side. So you can see that it is offset and off to the side. And then I'm going to put my bow over on this end. So there's the little piece of bumblebee gingham ribbon. And the best way to tie a bow with this is to make bunny ears. So you want to hold, like, if you broke this piece of ribbon into thirds, there's the outer thirds and the inner third. So you want to hold there and make two little loops. So see how I have my two loops and my tails are actually of similar length. You don't want to do like one loop in the middle and then you don't have room for the other loop because your tails are uneven. So you want to go ahead and do similar length tails or ends. Someone yesterday called it legs and I was like, that's hilarious. Like at first I thought that was like so weird, but I'm like, technically I call it a tail. So what's the difference between a tail and a leg? I mean, they're both kind of silly. So yeah, it works. They're either ribbon tails or ribbon legs. Cast your vote. Which one do you prefer? Or what do you call the ends of a bow? Those little tails. That's what I call it, is tails. So there you have that fabulous little bow. And now I'm just going to trim the ends in a little angled look. And I'm going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals to add the greeting to my card front. And then I'm going to use mini glue dots for, where did my, oh, here's my dimensionals. And then I'm going to use mini glue dots to do the little bow. You guys know I'm an overuser of dimensionals, so I'm going to use 4. If you're just joining in, welcome to Daily Dose of Stamping Therapy. I'm making the 2 projects that were made yesterday at my Girls Night Out launch party, but you can still participate in the fun of that launch party. You can place an order using the Hostess Code scrolling across the top. And when you do that, you will actually get all the supplies to make these 2 cards at home. So I will send those as well as a free gift to right to you. And then you can actually participate and have fun with the new catalog launch as well. So I just added that in the center. And then, like I said, I'm going to take little mini glue dots. And the best way to do this is to not touch the sticky as much as possible. So I'm just going to peel it off, stick one on the back. I'm actually going to do one on either like edge as well. Oh, I should have left the paper on so I could show you guys what that looked like. I'm sorry, because you're probably not going to be able to see the little clear dots that well. Oh, excuse me. And then I'm just going to add that like kind of angled up in the corner. You call it tails too? Okay, so tails isn't like, too crazy. I do feel like my one tail or leg or whatever you want to call it is a little bit too long. Oh no! I just adhered it on upside down. It's okay. We got this. Stampin' Dimensionals are usually pretty easy to take off. And I just placed it down, so I'm going to try my best. Otherwise, I did bring over another packet for such a crazy occasion where I needed to do it again. This is what you call live stamping. Mistakes happen, even to me. So there's 4 little spots where the cardstock came off. So I'm just going to add 4, possibly less, more little dimensionals in between to help keep this sticky. Okay, let's flip it around and make sure we have it right. And it's going to go right over that same spot, so no worries on that. And maybe I shouldn't do this now that I'm a little more nervous now. There we go. So there is that fabulous first sunflower card. See, it's okay if we make mistakes. We had a huge conversation at Girls Night Out yesterday about how we hope that no one rips up our cards because they'll see the mistakes. And someone even said, or pulls up any of the embellishments. Because, yeah, we embellish to cover up mistakes and everything's fine. You look at the card, you think it looks absolutely stunning. No one has to know about your mistakes. It's all good. And the inside. And of course the envelope. So that is card number 1. Now I'm going to show you the second card. And that is this one here. And this one, like I said, uses that Forever Greenery stamp set. It uses, actually it doesn't use the stamp set. Oh, it does. Forever Fern. The Forever Fern stamp set we used for the greeting, but it also uses the designer paper. So I didn't actually stamp any of those greenery pieces on there, although I think I might today with all of you guys because why not? We'll decorate the envelope and everything with a little bit of that greenery. Okay. Oh, here's my packet. So this one, oh, I do want to keep the envelope because I want to stamp on it. So this one we have a Whisper white card base, and I'm just going to fold that in half. And the reason I went with the dimensions of this one being different and folding in this direction rather than the other direction is because it saves on ribbon. You'll notice that I went around the card right here, and I actually went to the inside of the card. Now, if I were to do the card going in the other direction, like this, I would have had to use 5.5 twice plus the knot, and here I only used 4 1/4 twice plus the knot. So that's a little tip to do your card in the other direction so that you're using less ribbon. So now I'm also going to take my designer series paper, and because there's only so many prints in one pack, I went ahead and I used different ones. At the class, everybody could pick whichever piece they wanted to use, and all of them turned out absolutely fabulous. So it's awesome that you can get the same look. Let's make sure I have this going in the right direction. That you can get the same look with all the different prints and patterns in there. So we're going to do this one with this pattern on it. And the one that you get in the mail might be a different pattern or a different print. And that's perfectly fine because each one's going to come out a little bit different. So now I'm just tying my Just Jade cotton ribbon around, doing a nice little square knot so that my tails, ends, legs go nicely and lay flat, and then trimming it with a diagonal edge. So that goes on the end and to the inside of the card. And I actually probably should go ahead and stamp. So this one I didn't actually have a greeting on the inside, but even more of a reason to stamp some greenery from that stamp set on the inside. So I'm actually just going to ink it up in the shaded spruce and stamp the little leaves down and then stamp again. I think then I'm going to do the top. So I actually stamped twice. So I stamped the original time and then stamped it again without going back to the ink for that lighter, like fun shade there. So it just gives a little extra detail. And then I'm also going to do that with the envelope. So I'm going to stamp on the front of the envelope once and then again. And sure, why not? Let's go ahead and do the lip. But I think I'm just going to do it in the center. So now the back of the envelope looks like that. And the front looks like that. The inside. And then, of course, that's what the front looks like of the card. Isn't that super, super cute? I just love the way it really makes a card pop just by decorating the envelope and the inside. Okay, so then we have a piece of shaded spruce and then the new Just Jade, which is one of the new in colors. And you'll notice that it is embossed with the embossing folder in that same Forever Fern suite. This is an awesome embossing folder. It actually comes like up and down, so it's perfect to be able to do something in the middle. The one thing is that the overlap of the two is really close together. So you'll actually notice that there's a little bit of embossed image up here in the corner. And because of that, that is why my greeting is where it is at. Any other time I probably would have like lowered the greeting a little bit, but I wanted it to cover up that little hint of embossing up there because it seemed a little out of place. Like, why is there embossing up in the corner? So I just covered it up with the greeting. And you guys would have never known, but that's the reason why I placed the greeting where I did on this card was because of that little bit of embossing. So I'm just going to layer this onto the shaded spruce and then add it to our card front. So there we have that fabulous look. And then I'm going to take the Label Me Lovely punch. You guys know how much I love that punch. And I have a little piece of scrap Whisper White. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put this scrap Whisper White into the punch up and down like this. And you'll notice that it doesn't, it's not wide enough. But that's okay because we're actually going to trim off even more. So you'll see there, it's not wide enough, but it's just inside there. And punch. And then I'm actually going to cut off from the top bump. I'm going to cut that off. And then from that bottom bump, I'm going to cut off down there too. So we're just going to use those bumps as our guides. And it's okay if it's not straight. I know mine aren't straight, but I do the best. And you can always trim a little, but like this one has like a small little notch there, but it's so minimal. I don't really think anybody's going to notice, especially with the stamped greeting on there and all the other decorations on the card. So look how we got that fabulous image from this punch. So you can see how trying to line it up in there. So you can see how we just trimmed off the edges of the punched image for a totally different look. Because this one has like the side is flat and then the top and bottom are rounded. And so it looks a little bit, it's bigger obviously, but it also is a little bit more, I don't know, like rough. Whereas this one just looks so soft and cute and rounded and everything, and it's a totally different look. So I'm just going to stamp the greeting to a friend that makes me smile, and I'm going to stamp it in the middle. I find it so weird to say in the middle because, let's be honest, mine are never perfectly in the middle. So I'm just like, in the middle. And then I'm going to add this to the card front with Stampin' Dimensionals that I can never seem to find. But I know I'm not alone with that one. Yesterday, the stamp was like right here, and she was like standing with her hand right next to it, leaning and looking and going, where's the stamp? I'm sure it's probably right in front of me. And it was. And I'm like, yes, I'm not alone. Everyone does that, right? Sure makes you feel good to know that you're just as crazy as everyone else. We all have a little bit of crazy in us. It's okay. It's what makes us unique, and that's what's fabulous. Okay, so we're just going to add this. And again, I'm adding it up in... Why am I having so many problems with my greetings today? We're just going to add it up here in this corner so that it covers up that little hint of embossed image. And why do I feel like this looks super crooked now? It's so crooked looking. You know what? Turn it a little bit sideways. It's no longer crooked. Hi, Jody. Welcome. So there is the second card. But wait, that's not all. We still have to add our champagne rhinestones. So I'm just going to take my, my Take Your Pick tool and pop a little rhinestone on there, on either ends of the label. So it almost looks like it's like a tag or like a, what are those like metal like label things where you slide the label down the top, whatever that is. It kind of looks like that because it looks like rivets on either side. So you have that fabulous look, the inside, and the coordinating envelope. Isn't that super fun? I love the inside. I didn't actually stamp the inside of this one. So you can see here's front envelope and the inside of the card. But here is just a different look. As you can see, the designer series paper is different on each of these, but it still has that amazing look with the two cards. I do have to say that this one has like that more white, so it doesn't pop as much as the designer paper does on this one. But the back side of this one was all green, so I technically could have done that one because the back side of it is this paper. So you can see this is the side I used, but I could have used this side too. So there's like endless possibilities on how to do these cards, which makes it so much more fun because each one's going to look a little bit different, and that just makes it even more magical. So those are the two cards for Girls Night Out. I want to thank everybody who was able to attend yesterday. A huge thank you to all of you guys. I had so much fun. It was amazing. I definitely slept well last night because it was super amazing. But as any fabulous day, it did have to end, and I was tired and ready for bed. But yeah, it was so much fun. You can still participate in Girls Night Out by getting these cards. So what you'll do is you'll place an online order. I did leave a link in the description so that you can just click right there to shop, and then use the Hostess code that is scrolling across the top, and you will get these cards, the card packet supplies, mailed directly to you. So how super fun is that? Don't forget that if your order is over $75, you'll also get the free stamp set of the month, which is Basket of Blooms. So many ways to celebrate the new catalog and enjoy stamping right along with me. So I hope you guys had fun creating the cards today. Let me grab this other card so that if you missed the beginning, go back, you can watch that. Oh, I'm trying to show off the envelope, but I guess I'm not. So here are the 2 cards that we made today for Girls Night Out. Like I said, you can still enjoy and participate in Girls Night Out. Just place an order using the Hostess code above, and you will automatically get these 2 card packets sent to you so that you can create these cards right along with me. And this video will still be here, so no worries. You can always rewatch it when you get your card packet so that you know how to do all of it and with all the tips and tricks. So I hope you guys had fun stamping with me today. Of course, it's Friday, so that means that the weekend is here. I'm super excited. I feel like I need to use this weekend to get caught up because this week was crazy, and just get back on track with my lists and meal planning and everything else. Soak up a little sunshine maybe, not too much though, because that sun is hot. I went for a walk with Claire this morning and wowza, it was really warm. The weather is amazing, but that sun is still hot. So yeah, I'm hoping to have a nice, relaxing, fun weekend of getting caught up on everything. I did send out a Happy Mail this morning, so I feel a little bit more caught up on that, but I know there's always more Happy Mail to be sent out. So if you would like Happy Mail sent to you, message me your address and I'll get a card in the mail to you. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget that the Hostess code is only available until 8 p.m. this evening. So you have, and that is Central Time. So you'll want to participate in that before then. And yeah, I hope you guys will have a wonderful weekend. Love, hugs, and prayers to all of you guys. You are amazing. You mean the world to me, and I appreciate you so much. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.